Hey, everybody. Here's a quick word about our sponsors. First one being Laser App. You can find them at www.lasrapp.com. They're a laser activated shot reporter. They're amazing what it can do, all of the things that you can do with it, multiple guns, multiple locations, any type of target. They have a smorgasbord of items on their website store. Check them out. Use the affiliate link below or on our website, casualshooterpodcast.com, and use the code CSP 2021 for up to 15% off items not covered by the affiliate link. Next up, we have Gun Butter. I am one of those people that I clean my gun all the time because I feel like you've always got to clean the crud and put a fresh coat of lubrication on it. That's because of the stuff we had to use in the military. I didn't like it, but I have finally landed on something I can get behind, and that is gun butter. I did not shoot. I'm. I did not clean my gun at all at Nationals. I did not clean it after the match before Nationals, nor the match before that. And there's still gun butter oil on my gun. And I'm going to be using their grease on the lugs of my bolt gun. Next, we have Hoist. It is IV level hydration. It's clinically proven to absorb 110% faster than water. You've got all the right ingredients of your electrolytes that you need: magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium. It's all in there. A little bit of sugar, but that mixes the right amount to make it absorb rapidly so it's not sitting in your belly and weighing you down. So check it out. Get hydrated, stay hydrated. And thanks for checking out our sponsors. It helps with the podcast. Welcome to this special episode of the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. Today, we got a special guest. He's my brother from a Taiwanese mother. So let's bring in Frank Shu and let's talk. How you doing, Frank?
Hey, Dave. When you say the brother from another mother, I'll be like, okay, but a brother from a different country, I'm like, oh, okay, that's unique.
We're going to be more specific today.
Yeah.
Oh, so Frank and I were able to link up at Carry Optics Nationals and have dinner a couple of times. How have
hmm
you been since then?
Great. It feels like the burden kind of release from the nationals because I shot carry up to nationals, and after that, not even a week, I traveled to Colorado and then also shot the IDPA National. So it's like it feels like a back-to-back national to me. And not only that, it has another mission that carries on to my shoulder. So it's finally kind of have a release, and it has a good result for those missions. So yeah, I'm glad. It's kind of like, whew, shooting's almost done for this year. Almost done. One more
Almost,
match to go.
and then you can take a break.
Yeah.
So let's talk Carry Optics Nationals real quick.
hmm
Um, what did you think of it?
Great match. It has some great stages from speed shoots, some big courses like high points. Some of the stuff are high points. A mix of different kind of skills. It's pretty good match. I like it. I like it a lot. To be honest, like it's one of the great match I shot throughout the shooting career I have. So it's a great match. And then, oh
Okay.
yeah, and shooting with 400 people that are in the same division. That's also a very unique experience. Like, because you will shoot with maybe like PCC shooters sometimes. You'll be shooting like high cap, like everybody's high cap. So it's hard to kind of
Right.
see what everybody's levels at. But everybody in the Carry Optics National are shooting the same division, and you're just
Yeah.
going to see everybody shooting pistol and with different kinds of way to shoot stages. It's very interesting. Yeah. So great match. Great match.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that the other day. It really dawned on me how literally everybody was shooting It might have been a different gun and a different optic, but the same gun, the same number of rounds, and same number
Hmm.
of everything. So you compared yourself to every single person that you were with shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really neat.
Hmm. And then
You
cool thing about that is see more and more people are shooting Canik on the match, and some of the people shooting Canik came over and say, "Hey Frank, finally meet you. Hey, this is my gun. This is the rival." Or maybe people shooting SFX, but yeah, you're seeing more and more people are shooting Canik, and that is a great thing to see how Canik start to spark in competition world.
yes,
Hmm.
totally agree. And that's
Yeah.
when you and I were talking, and I'm like, I'd like to see Canik sponsor more USPA stuff. I know that they, and we'll get into it. I know they sponsored at least a stage because I saw videos of people shooting IDPA Nationals. And you've
Mm.
got the big Canik banners up on the stage.
Hmm.
So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw this up on the screen real quick here.
Hmm.
Hopefully you can see that okay.
Oh, I see
Yep.
my post with a video.
Yeah, here we go. So a little bit of a video. This is the stomp pad one. Oh, so you went center target first, huh?
Hmm. Trying to be
Okay.
conservative on that stage. Yeah.
Okay. Now, which stage was your favorite?
Ooh. Oh, this is hard. I feel like every stage is great. The one people shooting with the U shape or a different way to shoot it with the popper in the middle that you can shoot far away. We can go get close with the bobber that comes out. That stage is pretty
Hmm.
fun because you see people shooting multiple ways to shoot that stage. People go to the charge to the front and come back. People come to the back and go to the front again. Yeah, seeing that one is a very unique. People's the mindset is different on that. One of another stage. Um, the one with the buzzer, but the buzzer is the visual buzzer. That's an interesting one as
Right.
well.
That was 14. Yeah, stage 14.
Yeah, zone 3, the first stage
Now,
right next to chrono.
yeah. Did you have any delay with that one?
Uh, what do you mean by that?
Well, and I'll explain because I did. So I was the first one on our squad. So John McClain
Uh-huh.
shot the first. That was day 2 for us. So we were shooting morning. And
Okay.
we started on the stage directly beside Chrono, which was stage 13. He was first,
Hmm.
I was second.
Mm,
So when we shot that, we moved over to the next one with the visual start, and I was first. Man, I had
mm-hmm,
everything down. I already knew my plan. Everything was solid, ready to go.
mm.
I'm staring at the light, and I hear the commands: "Shooter, are you ready? Stand by." And I see the light come on, but my mind is like, "Where's the tone? Where's the tone? Where's the tone?" I'm like, "Oh, go!"
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's our first stage on day 3 for our
Oh,
squad.
okay.
Um, I squad with Lev from the GX hoster, also some of the great people from like Brandon. He shoots IDP a lot as well. So yeah, I see GX hosters. I see um, people from like in that basically that group from that area. And yeah, the way that we shoot that one, we're basically just doing this. I was staring at that light. I'm like,
Yes.
no delay, no delay. So yeah, for us it's no delay, but it's interesting that your mindset because you get used to the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing the visual one, it's kind of like, huh, what's going on? And I feel like this is something you can tie into the real world. Like sometimes when you are in a situation, you're probably not going to hear pop pop as the signal. Oh, this is time I need to grab my conceal and then go on and help out or something. Sometimes you probably will just drinking your coffee in Starbucks, looking outside, the window is sealed. All you see is people running around screaming, but you only can see the visual cue. You're probably not going to see. You're probably not going to hear anything, and that's something. It's very interesting that tied up to the competition. It's like, oh, okay, visual, and we get used to the tone, but now it's a visual one. It's a very unique experience on that stage. That's what I see that you can use in the real world in that scenario. Um,
Right.
yeah, that's a cool one. That's a cool one.
Yeah. That was a fun stage.
Hmm.
Um, so your last day, then you shot stage 19. How did you enjoy that one?
Okay, I think I made a mistake. That's the thing. I make the mistake that
Oh.
I shot. Um, okay, I was being risky. I thought if I shave some time shooting at the basically I stand up and all the sticks I thought might be because it's not that far. I'm like, this is about what 15, 20
25.
yards, 25 yards. Yeah.
It was
I-
25.
wi- with the dot, I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. And turns out the sequence, I get it wrong. If I
Mm.
shoot at the front, if you shoot at the front, then you can shoot right popper, left popper, and it'll come back to the clamshell. Is that clamshell or something? I forgot. The clamshell
Yeah, right in the
and
middle. It's a
yeah,
bobber.
and yeah, bobber and the swinger. That's
Yep.
fine with the sequence. So right steel, left steel, bobber and swinger. You'll be fine. But I shoot it in 25 yards with right, left, and bobber. And when it come back to the swinger, all the sequence went wrong. And I'm just like freaking out over there. So yeah, I made a mistake with I believe it's Alpha Mike on the swinger. And I got all the hits on the bobber and
That
the
target that
peekaboo.
fell out. Yeah, the
Yeah,
peekaboo. There you go. That's a good way of calling it.
yeah. So I should just go to the front because that's my I shot it first, and everybody sees it. And said, "Oh, okay, we're not going to do that anymore." And it's just like, "Great, guys, great." so, so I
Oh,
missed a lot
there.
of points. I should just charge forward. That just the brain fart. So I was kind of a little bit mad at myself, but I'm like, it's okay. It's it is what it is. You have experience. Next time don't make that mistake. Just trust yourself. I wasn't trusting myself. I thought I was doing okay over here, but my initial thought was charging forward, and then I changed my mind in the between walkthroughs, and I just like I shouldn't do that. See, rookie mistake right there.
Your squad wasn't loyal either.
Yeah, they're like
They
this.
abandoned
This
you.
this couple people said, "Oh, okay, it's not that bad. We probably will charge for. We probably will stay here." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, it's not that bad, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's not that bad." And turns out, after I shot, everybody charged forward. I'm like, "Great!" So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be the guinea pig.
Yeah, same thing with the timing, the four poppers and all four
Hmm.
different stuff. The second of the last stage. That one is also a very interesting because we saw the previous squad shooting different ways. Some couple people shooting different ways. Some people activate all the steel, but they activate too fast because the timing went wrong. So
Mm,
Laugh from the GX holster was first on that stage. He's a gimme pick, and he's doing the same thing. He's like, boop, 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 ding, 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 and got everything. And he's like, yeah, see, I show you guys, you can do it, you can do it. So everybody did it, and it's just depending on if you hit alpha or Charlie or delta. That's about it. And
right.
I'm glad I shot sub 4 seconds. I think I am fourth overall on that stage, I believe. Let me double check because now I'm thinking. Yeah, because I shot all alphas on that stage, all the papers and the popper. So let me see. Oh, I need to find this.
Yep, you're fourth.
Yeah, fourth. I think Max was third, right? Or
No,
something.
Max was first.
Yeah, Max was first. I think Oh yeah, did I beat Niels on that one? Is that why?
Yeah,
That's
you
the one.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
you
one
beat.
I beat a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was seventh.
It's okay. He still got overall first.
Yeah, I think he did okay in the end.
Yeah, he did okay. He just said, small points, doesn't matter.
It probably
Yeah.
didn't matter him at all. He's probably like, man, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one is a fun one as well. And that's why I say like it's hard to find a particular stage that you like, but overall, I will say they did a really good job on this match. The weather was not bad. I thought it's going to be like Puerto Rico. It's raining. Nope,
Mm,
it's not that bad. Yeah,
it was just humid, very
yeah,
humid.
it's just humid, really humid. That's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Um, yeah, I really liked the thing. One of the things I really liked about the match was there were some short stages,
Mm,
but they did some things that would kind of ramp up the difficulty a little bit or anxiety. It could in that there were some things thrown in like the steel with the four different activated targets
mm-hmm.
where you've got to get the timing down. And if you try to rush it, then you're going to miss a steal or you're going to
Mm.
mess up you know what I mean? Like there's always something that you've got to throttle it back to your pace or it's going to be a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. Same thing with the sequence of stomp pad with three
Yeah.
shots in the middle, two shot on the left and right, and people
Yeah.
throw it out because it's like pop pop, and they start figuring out, oh no, it's three shot, pop pop pop, and then come back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought they did a good job of mixing it up and doing some things to keep your mind in the game. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
this is not a speed shoot. You got to make sure you get the timing right, or you're
Mm-hmm.
going to jack it up.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm like, it's a pretty good match for me. Looking at my overall score, I'll be like, yeah, I feel like I gotta improve like more. Because this early this year, I thought it's like, oh, okay, I improve. You can tell like I'm improved, but then
Hmm.
in the middle of the year, it's like, did I get improved or did I just get lucky? And you start thinking about that way, and then, but overall, looking at all the matches I shot this year, yeah, my performance are it's going up. It's going up steady. It's good. It's good.
Well, and I mean, how long during the earlier part of the year were you incapable of practicing and training and all that? How long,
Mm,
how much time did that take out of your schedule?
not a lot because I think we talked about this. I went back to Taiwan, right? And yeah, not a lot. Not a lot. Like came back from Taiwan, nothing happened. June, and then got COVID, and right after that, after COVID got healed, I got COVID. I was like 3 days stuck in bed. But then afterwards, after like a couple months later, like July or June, like July or something, I got like super weird illness, and it's not COVID because still tested, and then it's like negative, and only I got affected. My entire family doesn't. I got a super weird illness that I cannot really. I just lost all the muscle strength. Like I cannot grip the gun. I hardly able to wake up. I mean, not wake up, get up out of the bed. Majority of my like eating and working at that time, it's all in bed for 3 days. My wife is the one that has to take care of me, and she's pregnant at that time. Well, she's still pregnant now, but yeah, it just weird. It's weird illness. I went to the hospital, get the blood and get the urine check, and everything come back normal. And they just like, okay, yeah, Frank, you're normal, but I can't do anything. And I walk like an 80, 90-year-old grandpa in a hospital and with the mask and the hat on. So people was like, "Oh, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm doing okay." It's just like that. It's weird. And some of the people in my local club just joke around, say, "Frank, it's called age. You're getting old." I'm like, I don't know. It's weird because right after that, people also joke around that because right after that, my first match was a local Utah State steel match, and then I got okay. and I got second place, and it's kind of like a comeback at that time, but I can still feel my muscle strength. It's not there. And then a couple weeks later, Labor Day weekend, I shot Utah State USPSA match. I got like six overall, I believe. Justine was first, and then yeah, and I'm just like, whoa, oh, what happened to my performance? Suddenly just went up. So there's a guy that joke around say, "Hey, Frank, you drink the alien juice. That's what happened." And right after that, and nationals, two nationals, and until today, I feel like, yeah, did I get the alien juice or something? I don't know. It just suddenly went up the performance. Hopefully, stay that way. Hopefully.
Right. Maybe that break it gave you in the middle of the summer helped you out.
Probably mental, also not worry too much about stuff. I don't know. It's just weird. Until today, still don't know what's going on over there.
But no more symptoms.
Yeah, no more symptoms. Everything's normal. So
All right.
that's
Well,
why
that's good.
alien Jews.
Yeah. All right. So you touched on it briefly. You went to Taiwan, back to Taiwan. It was what, March, early March?
Yeah, early March, middle of
Okay.
March actually, middle March.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
And when you were over there, you were approached about a team coming from Taiwan to
Hmm.
Cameo to shoot IDPA Nationals, but they have never shot real guns before.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the people never shot real guns, and some of the people hasn't shot real guns for at least since 2018. So remember the match I was talking about? I think it's pre podcast. We talked about they. So
Yes.
this is a very interesting experience because when I went back to Taiwan, my goal was trying to introduce Canik to the Taiwanese people because Canik just came out with that airsoft gun. So I thought about, oh, that's great. Not only visit my family, I'm just going to introduce this and tell them, hey guys, there is a Taiwanese guy that lives in America now. It's shooting USPSA and IDPA, which is IPSC over there. And then they're like, oh, okay, who are you? And then they saw my performance. I'm like, oh, this guy is crazy. Did you? Because they are so in the airsoft world, they modify everything, right? They modify all the guns. They just pretend like this is an open gun. They want, even though there are no recoil on factory airsoft, no matter what, but they still modify even more to make it even like just like nothing. You just gently holding the gun, and the trigger's a hair trigger, and all you do is just like this when they pull the trigger on guns. And so when they saw how I run the factory Canik airsoft pistol like them, they're like, did you modify anything? I was like, no, this is completely factory. They're like, yeah, you are shooting super fast. I'm like, oh, really? Thank you. So started to figure out, they noticed there is a guy that shoots Canik, and there is a guy that is a master class in USPSA and IDPA are doing competition for a while. So the the person, well, if you wanted to talk about this, it's like an IEPA Taiwanese president, but not really because the president is in US. So it's like an international contact person, like a it's kind of like your regional officer, those kind of stuff with area director. So he's kind of like an area director in Taiwan area. So he contacted me and say, hey Frank, we are planning to send people to shoot IDPA National this year. And I said, oh, that's great. And we had some people never shot real guns. Some people haven't shot real guns for a while. I want you to train them. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I want you to train them 4 days. Oh, he originally he said 5 days. I'm like, oh, 5 days. That's kind of long. I say 4 days probably enough. I said, okay, 4 days. I'm like, okay. And they said, because at that time he's like, we're still looking for sponsors, like who's able to help us to make this trip happen. But I have confidence to the trip is going to happen, and we'll have sponsors to help out. And our goal is to have them to get plaques. Like we want them to get award. I want them to I want them to be I want them to be kind of the person to shine. Not only people in Taiwan can shoot real guns, but because of what they're doing right now, even though the circumstances of the government regulation, they can only shoot airsoft, but airsoft can be a training tool to help you to become competitive in the real gun world. So that's his goal. And then I'm like, oh, this ambitious is really big because I was like, wow, like airsoft, hmm, and real gun. That's super hard to compare. And then turns out they came here, shot 4 days. I was training them for 4 days. People get blisters everywhere on their fingers, on their hand. They because the airsoft courses are also small as well. It's not as like real gun. It's big courses. You don't have to run it
Right.
on that much, but turns out they train. We I train them as real as possible. Blisters everywhere on their fingers. You can if you see some of the pictures that even have like band-aid on their hand, they want to make sure to avoid those, and they got soreness on their legs and everything, and the elevation is completely different
Oh, yeah.
because Taiwan is an island. It's like Hawaii.
Right. They're
It's
sea
like,
level. Yeah.
yeah, they're sea level. And so
Yep.
coming up here, and then I just realized Grand Junction is higher than Salt Lake. So I'm like, what? It's like 200
Wow.
feet, 200 feet higher than Salt Lake. So when I was there teaching classes and trained them, I run the course as a demo. I come back and start talking and be like, hold on a second, this is weird. And then we Wikipedia a little bit and found out it's like 200 feet higher than Salt Lake. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably why. So yeah, beating those kind of circumstances, is still able to get award. And yeah, we even have a guy got sickness. Yeah, glad it's not COVID. I think he has how do you call that? People has a sickness in a high altitude.
It's an altitude sickness. That's all it is.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
got that, and he
Altitude
has to do the
sickness.
oxygen all the time when he was running courses. Every 10 minutes, he will be like, "Okay, Frank, I need to rest a little bit." He would just like getting the oxygen tank, is like doing that. Yeah, the entire match, he's doing the same thing, and apparently, he's one of the best shooter in Taiwan in the airsoft field. And he was stressing out because his performance and the altitude and everything. He was like the entire time. I'm just like, and he got award as well. So everybody get award. Everybody as a shooter from Taiwan got the award. So even one of the guy got the most accurate iron sight shooter for the entire match.
Really?
Yes, that's what I'm like. Whoa,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, well, number one, they probably came over here and they're like, all right, who stole all the oxygen? Number two, number two, what now? I want to go back and talk about something more, but while we're right here,
Uh-huh.
there's got to be a way now to draw similarities between airsoft training
Mm-hmm.
and real gun training.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something there for them. And this is one of the things I was going to bring up later was they took home like what, 6 different awards?
Yeah.
And how many team members were there?
There's if you think about it, it's I would say four
Okay.
shooters, for at different divisions, and one of the guy is an SO, but we don't count that because he doesn't want to be part of it. He's the international contact guy, the area director. He's like, don't worry about me, just worry about them. So four shooters got 6 award. So two of them they got 2 awards. One of the guy got the most accurate iron sight shooter. When I say iron sight, it's like, yeah, IDPA they don't count like, oh, the best and limited most accurate. No, it's like an entire
Oh,
iron sight shooter. Yeah.
that's impressive.
hmm So that's why I'm like, whoa, people can shoot in Taiwan now. People can start looking at, oh, these people can shoot guns.
Well, it's not only that, Frank. I mean, that to me, it's a very small sample size. I get it. but there's now you start leaning towards airsoft guns are legitimate training tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
exactly.
it,
Like we have some people not the Taiwanese team also have their media team here. So one of the translator, which is basically their translator and also a she's kind of like a reporter for some of the Taiwanese media. She interviewed some of the shooters, and I will say this: even Luigi Lee, Luigi was because I talked to Luigi. I said, "Hey, do you want to talk about show off the sport?" And when she asked the question to Luigi, and Luigi also answered, "Yeah, I shoot airsoft." So the only difference between the airsoft and the real gun is the recoil. All the fundamental is there. Sometimes the
yeah,
trigger pull might be different, but if you grip the gun as hard as the real gun and just use as a training tool, it's a legitimate training tool. And he even say that he said before he shoot real gun, he shoot airsoft, and then so he knows the different world, and he say it's that yeah, it's a legitimate training tool. And in fact, if you think about it though, as a U.S. shooter, sure, we probably are getting benefit of the real gun already. So why we need airsoft, right? So
right,
people
yeah.
dry fire using real gun, but that ideally it's basically the same thing that Taiwanese people using airsoft to train what they are here today. And and if you think about it, the cool fire trainer, that
Hmm.
little barrel, that's basically an airsoft. If you
Yeah.
turn your gun into the airsoft gun, that's a legitimate training tool. So yeah, like we are doing that, but we just don't know. But the Taiwanese people are doing it already, but we were like, oh, airsoft, ha ha ha, and turns out it's a legitimate training tool. But as an American, we use it, but we just didn't know that we are using it as a training tool.
Well, and a couple of things. Huggy has the cool fire trainer. So
Hmm.
I've shot that. I like it. They need to improve the technology because the big barrel gets cold quick and
Hmm.
you lose pressure, but they get all that stuff worked out. That's a great tool. But the other thing is they now make a lot of the same targets for airsoft that you use in IDPA and USPSA. You've
Yeah.
got poppers and other stuff. So I who was it? Bill Duda, I believe, when he and I were talking, he was trying to create an activator for the swinger that he sells.
Mm,
So, I mean, if you could legitimately somehow link that to a popper with an airsoft gun, I mean, you could literally set up the same stuff in airsoft that you could in real life. It would just be at shorter distances, but it would
correct.
mimic a 25-yard shot.
Yeah. And because you mentioned about the airsoft in IDP and USPSA, and in fact that IPSC in European country or some Asian country like Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, and some areas like Hong Kong, even Russia, they they legitimate have the IPSC, but have a subdivision called IPSC Air. So they basically
Hmm.
just compete with all the stuff in airsoft version. And yeah, the distance is shorter. The farthest distance you can put on every stage is 10 yards, so 10 meters, very similar.
Okay.
And the target, it's like I think it's 20 or 25% smaller than the real size paper target. So it feels the same. And in fact, if you since you're on my Instagram, if you scroll down a little bit to around May, I have like stages I shot in Taiwan. Oh, right there, left side. That one, it's a IPSC.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you can see the popper, even though it's closer, but it's tiny, and then you still run. I still run like this is like a full course of the USPSA, and then it is very very interesting the way how they set it up and whatnot, and even in IDPA, same thing. I just very surprised that you can still mimic on those kind of stuff. So when you say people are starting to look into these kind of area for the shooters to get improved, yeah, this is something they can put in the backyard if they want to.
Oh,
or even basement.
well, yeah, basement. I mean, I could set up a course of fire in my garage.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
now, when I was at SHOT Show,
Hmm.
that was the first time I got to be able to play with the new Canik Elite Combat airsoft gun.
Hmm.
Because you told me that there was one, and you told me who to talk to, so I went and I talked to the guy, and I got to play with it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but that was still like a one of two models, I think, or the only model that they had.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now that looks like the Elite Combat Canik right there.
Correct.
How did it function in that airsoft match that you shot?
So that's the first match I shot with
Mhm.
people in the IPSC world. They've highly modified that. So mine's fully factory. So the way I can pull the trigger like them, they were surprised. The I will say this: the guns are great, and so the reason why I say that is because people trying to, so this is something not about Canik. This is something about airsoft technology. The guy, sorry, not the guy, the company who sponsored one of the IDPA event this year, they also helped the Taiwanese shooters to come to Cameo. The vendor was there. So the airsoft owner was there. And he talks about
Mm.
about the airsoft technology. He says some of the company will try to mimic the recoil of the airsoft like a real gun. The way how they do it is depending on where that air chamber in the slide, how big the slide is, will basically have the more force to the back or to the front. So when I say that, I'm saying, what do you mean? Say some of the gun will do this. You will feel the recoil, but that's not real recoil. That is basically the front force sliding back to the battery. That is the mimic of the recoil.
Okay.
That's why I thought about that. It's basically same as the cool fire trainer. When the cool
Right.
fire trainer, that recoil, that's why when you first shot it, would be like, oh, that recoil is weird, because that is the front force slam it back to the slide to make you feel like, oh, that's a recoil like a real gun. So airsoft is the same thing. Some company will do the recoil from this way. Some people would do the recoil from this way to make the airsoft shooter have a different experience and thought about, oh, that's a bigger recoil like a real gun. So he talked about that technology, and I thought it's very interesting. But the gun on Canik, people like it because the recoil is larger than the normal airsoft gun. So some of the shooters like it, and some of the shooters say that is not we thought it is. But overall, the Canik airsoft gun is great. Let's just say that it's great. You can. It's basically the 100% replica. I don't want to say 100%. It's like
It's
the
90 plus percent.
90+% cosmetic of the replica. Of course, the internal stuff, all the actions are still airsoft, but it's like 90% accurate as a real gun. I can shove my real TP9 Max inside the the airsoft version, but I can't close the slide. But the
Right.
size dimension are correct. And some of the airsoft company, for example, they probably have to modify the magazine or modify the grip to fit the airsoft components that they make. So then the dimension is wrong. I have the airsoft version of some other pistols, like a 1911 or maybe a different brand, a PPQ. Let's just say that. The magazine is supposed to be the same as the Canik, the dimension, only the mag
Right.
catch is slightly different. When I shove it into with the Canik mech into that airsoft, there's like wiggle room inside. So you will know it's not 100% correct, but Canik makes super accurate on that. And in fact, a lot of people use it as a training tool. Even in Canik Turkey, they also do it as a training tool. So for those people probably not have access to the real Canik yet, they can use that as a training tool to do at home and or in different field. So
Well,
it's a
and
great
the
gun.
yeah. Well, and I mean, it literally felt because like that's my carry gun. The Elite
Mm,
Combat is my carry gun, And so when I got to play with it, I was like, man, this feels exactly like my carry gun. Like the weight
Exactly.
was similar, everything.
Hmm.
But the thing that really got me when he was talking to me was he said this is one of only a few actual striker fired airsoft guns. I'm like, what?
Yep.
So, and then to hear that Canik actually shared all of the mechanical drawings with them so they could be so accurate, I was like, this is crazy.
I'll say this: it's probably two. This is the second striker fire pistol, airsoft pistol I ever seen in my life. The first one is they released not too long ago. It's a Glock. It's a Glock pistol. It's from an airsoft company called GHK. That's the first one they have. This is the second one I see on the market. So Canik
Wow.
is a second striker fire pistol on the market using the same technology.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I mean, that is cheap training, and I mean, how fun is that if you can actually hit targets, knock things down, video yourself, and learn from it? You know,
Hmm.
so very interesting.
Yeah.
So you kind of briefly touched on it, but one of the things I want to get to was the next phase of this is okay. So you talk to those guys, they want to send 4 people over for you to train for 4 days.
Hmm.
So how did they obviously they didn't come by boat, but they flew, but
Yeah.
how did they actually get here? Did they have sponsors? The biggest thing is where did you get all the guns? Where'd you get all the magazines? Where'd you get all the equipment for 4 shooters coming from outside of the country?
So let's just go all the way back because I asked them how did you guys come over, and they say yeah, they just flew normally over.
To
So
Mexico, walked across, I got it.
to LA, unfortunately, they had to go to LA first. So, but funny thing about that is people the custom asked them, "What are you guys doing here? How many days you guys going to stay in America?" They they said they're here for a shooting competition. And then now there's a red flag for the custom. It's like, okay, you guys from Taiwan, and where's the gun? Where's the ammo? Like they ask legitimate question and they don't know how to answer that because the gun is here in United States. They are having help from Walther. Walther is the company
Okay,
that they helping out because the airsoft company, the owner has the connection with Walther high up, so that's why they have to build a connection.
okay.
I thought about Canik already, so don't worry. Hopefully, but but this year it just Walther is the one first. That's okay.
Well, good for Walther, good for them.
Yeah, good for Walther. And then
Yeah,
Walther help out with them. So the ammo and gun is here, but they have to travel with with their own competition gear to come over. But when the custom asks them, say, "Hey, where's the gun?" and they don't know how to answer that because they don't know until they
right.
come over. Then they realize, "Oh, Walther has the gun. Oh, they have to meet with the Walther to grab the gun." And interestingly, the legal team in Walther, they want them to get the Hunters not Hunters HG Gold. Ah, this episode is sponsored by Hunters
Right.
HG
There's a free
Gold.
plug. You're welcome, Brian.
No, it's Hunters hunting's license. They need to have the hunting's education and
Oh.
get the license first before they come to America. So they got
Hmm.
everything done. They have the license. They just bought the license in Colorado, and they have to confirm they have the safety education, so they will know exactly how to handle the gun. So when I was there, every single day, Walther will send a guy to go over to the range, and then with the Pelican, open it up, ask everybody, record the serial number on each gun and record their basic information, including the license from their hunter's educations. So that's every single day routine. They cannot, once they finish the training, they put the gun back to the Pelican. The guy will drove back to the hotel. They're not even able to dry fire at a hotel room. So
Wow.
if you think about it, the only time they have training, it's just the time they're at the
On the
range.
range.
When they're done, the gunner has to put it back to the Pelican, and the guy drove off. So they don't have time to dry fire and get used to the gun. So if you think about even that, it's very challenging for them to get the award, and now they get the award for all the
Yeah.
matches. That's impressive. So I'm just like,
So
good for them.
yeah, absolutely. That's impressive. I mean, out of the 4,
Mhm.
had they all shot a real gun before?
Um, I think half and half. One of the guy, he is a 20-year Coast Guard firearm instructor, but he
Okay.
retired. So he works as the engineer in the airsoft company, and he's the guy got the most accurate
Oh,
iron sight shooter.
okay.
Yeah, and we have a guy shooting carry optic. He is a violinist, so very interesting. Like he works as he's a violinist. Like he play violin. He's not even anything in the law enforcement or any shooting world. He just play violin. Yeah, that's him. He played
Yeah,
violin.
let me resize this. I'll delete and redo this. There we go. So that's his day job is a violinist.
Yes. We shoot the
Wow.
carry optic. And the guy, when I said he was a 20-year veteran, he was a Coast Guard firearm instructor. He now works in the airsoft company as the engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
All
one of
right.
the guy apparently the guy who I say he needs to get the oxygen all the time. He is a he's a middle school biology class teacher.
What?
Oh, not biology class, chemistry, chemistry teacher. Yeah, middle school.
Wow. So the violinist took first place marksman class in carry optics.
Yes,
There you go.
there
I
you go.
mean, you can't write a better story than that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and we have a middle school teacher. He got
Yeah.
I think he got first place in sharpshooter. Am I right?
Well, let's do this. I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, we have a screenshot. Oh, that's
Uh,
why.
yeah. Let me. I'm not sure. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this one. We're gonna screen share that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
We'll just do them all.
yeah.
All right. So
So
left to right, it looks like I'm gonna guess the violinist is the one making the smoochy face.
yes, he's the one.
Okay. Who's the
And
guy
then
beside you on your right side, left side as we're looking at it?
that's the middle school teacher,
Okay, so there's our
and
chemist.
he is one of the best IDPA shooter in Taiwan as well. He always got overall in Taiwan as a as an iron sight shooter. So
So is he the guy who was stressing then about his performance?
yeah, he's the guy because he had pressure from everybody's looking at him as he's the best in Taiwan, and now he has to get a good award here. And apparently, you can see he got two award. One is the one for his division and class. I think the other one is the international side. I forgot international iron sight. The shooter, the most accurate international
Okay.
iron sight shooter, or something. I forgot. I have the actual. I don't want to read it wrong because this something probably they will start watching. So let me double check on that.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. He is the most accurate international shooter overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tone this down a little bit so we can see everybody's face. There we
Mhm.
go. All right. And he was, as I see it, stock service pistol. He was second place sharpshooter.
Correct.
Okay. Then there's Frank
And that's me.
in the middle.
12th overall in carry
Okay.
optic national with 80 something shooter there, 12th overall. I have a brain fart in that because there's so many stuff I need to worry about. Like I have to worry about them. I have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about my performance. Like, cause I was practicing with them, but majority of the time I was trying to basically just make sure they're doing okay. So I wasn't as focused as the carry out the national in USPSA. So 12 overall compared to last year, I was 20 something overall. Yeah, there's an improvement, but I want to be
Yeah.
top five. That was my goal. I want to be top five. And then I talked to Niels at that time and say, and Niels also like, yeah, it's really hard to focus everything at the same time. And he understand that. So
Right.
12 overall, I'm still doing
But
okay.
yeah, I mean, when you cut your position in half,
Yeah.
June, I had June Kim on.
Mm,
Um, so his episode comes out, I believe, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday.
okay.
Um, Shoot, now I forgot where I was going with that.
June, you say
Um,
June has brain fart or something?
um, uh, you know, there's a noise in the background, and it totally threw my
It's
train
that
of thought.
telephone. It's that telephone
Yeah,
ringtone. But yeah, it will come back. It will come back. So
eventually.
yeah. So that's my performance. And to be honest, let's just say this. The like Jalise and Justine were there as well. Justine also doesn't have the best performance. She also have a lot of malfunction on her PCC, so
Oh
she
wow.
was sad. And Jolie's, this is the thing about IDPA is there's a weight limit, and we as a USPSA shooter we forgot about that sometimes. So Jolie's has a her firing pin broke and stuck in the slide, so they're trying to switch to the replacement slide, and it was a hair heavy. So in that
Wow.
situation, it's basically DQ. So she was,
Oh no.
so she didn't get DQ. I know. The
Right.
short, long story short, she didn't get DQ. But what I heard, because the Taiwanese team came over and said, hey, the sisters are bawling, are crying in the equipment check stage. I'm like, oh, what is going on? And I asked Jaleese. Jaleese said, I asked Niels first, and Niels said, "Yeah, it's a rough situation. It's like the firing pin stuck in the slide, and then they have a replacement slide, and it was too heavy." And that's what I got. So I thought she got DQ. That's why she was crying. And then I asked Jalise. Jalise say, "Well, they try every single magazine because every single magazine that they try out is only 2 grams heavier than the weight limit. So they're trying to figure out which magazine is the lightest, and they found out the last magazine on her in her equipment that she brought barely passed on the equipment check.
Wow.
So
Thank goodness.
thank goodness on that one. So yeah, it was a drama over there. We were like, holy moly. Yeah. So that's so you can tell some of the top shooter doesn't really have a good performance this year, besides Nils. He crushed everything.
It's the year of the nils. I'm telling you, it's the
I
year of the
know.
nils.
It's
It's
a year of
ridiculous.
Canik. Let's just say that. It's everybody's going to shoot Canik now. We talked about this at National. Now
Yeah,
more and more people are going to shoot Canik.
but at the same time, I mean, look, it's nils. You could
Yeah.
hand him a high point, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you give the guy. He's gonna be right there. I mean, he's like RoboCop. It's just like very bop, 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 bop.
I
So
like
it's
it.
like, yeah, I mean, he's just so flat, you know what I mean? And not in a bad way, but I mean, he's just very level,
Yeah.
very consistent across
Consistent.
air, you know what I mean? He doesn't have highs and, well, he'll win stages, but he doesn't have the lows.
Hmm.
He's very consistent across the board, and that's what wins.
Yeah.
So,
And then again, not only shooters, but good equipment is also very important. So that's why I'm saying it's the year of Canik. The Canik performed super well at this year, especially using the rival. Because I also felt it as well. Like I do see the carry out the nationals, the gun performance extremely well. And in the carry after IDPA carry after, it also it's pretty consistent. It's just the shooter. It's all about the shooter. So you're right. It's the year of nails. Even the equipment is great, but
Yeah. I feel if Canik made a single stack gun, he'd probably win with a Canik single stack gun too.
and even 40
And a
caliber.
limited, yeah, limited everything. Now,
Hmm.
well, let me ask you this, Frank, because you've got more, you're a higher level shooter. You've got more time on the Canik than I do. You're a
Hmm.
team Canik shooter. Um, your last Canik SFX with the 5.2-inch barrel,
Mm.
running smooth, running great. You get a new rival,
Hmm.
and you have to choose: are you going with the rival every time?
Rival.
So why? What do
100%.
you? Well, me too, but why are you saying that?
The ergonomic on a pistol is better because the improvement of how the grip, I believe the grip angle also changed a little bit, but the ergonomic on the pistol for sure. The the undercut, everything, the mag well. I would say overall the new design on the rival is way better than the old SFX. The SFX is great, but like I said, and like Neil was talking about, there is potential on Canik. So that's why when Neil's designed this new rival coming out, it is way better than the previous one. I don't want to say the previous one is bad. It's still great, but this is even better. So
Yeah,
the
it's just
rival
the
is
improved model.
exactly, and the recoil impulse is completely different. Even though it's like 5 inch versus 5.2, but the recoil impulse is smoother. I will say this, because I have so many trigger time on the old SFX and the new one now. The new one definitely is faster. Not faster. It's smoother. It's smoother on the action. It is, to be honest, because I believe you are doing the same thing. Even in a carry after national, some people are running rival as a stock. They didn't never change out any
Yep.
single components. So you can see
Yeah.
it is it is an actually a out of the box competition ready pistol.
Yes.
So that is why I will choose rival every time. And same thing, I introduced the rival to the competition shooter. Let's just say this again: the teacher that shoots PDP, he's like he drops every single time. The way how he grip, like he dropped magazine all the time, but when he grabbed my mechanic
Mm.
and he just doing this, I'll just go into. There's no video, but I'm going to show you what I saw because he was like, "Hey Frank, can I try your real gun real quick?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, go for it." He try it, pop, 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 and he'll do this. And then he will continue to do this, and then you can tell he's getting faster and faster on the trigger. He's like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da," and he'd be like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da," and finish it, and he'll come over and say, "Yeah, this is way better than PDP." That's what he said. So,
That's
so,
funny.
so that's why I'm like, because I'm in the back, I'm talking to other people. I'm like, oh, he's getting faster on the trigger pull. Oh. I think he likes Canik even more now, because it's the same thing, and that's why he mentioned it. He's like, yeah, you're this is way smoother than the PDP. The way that the tone, this is his tone, the teacher tone. He's like, yeah, this is way smoother than the Walther. And when I say, "Oh, okay," and he said, "No, no, no, I'm serious. Like the way I'm gripping the gun, it feels like, and I'm pulling the trigger, I don't have to grip as hard as PDP. I am basically almost using my strength gripping an airsoft pistol." I'm like, "Oh,
Ooh.
that is
Interesting.
interesting." Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm like, "Oh." So that's why he said the Canik is better. And of course, whoever are listening, whoever is from Taiwan, just this is the personal preference. And again, we don't know if Canik's going to help out. I'm just saying out there, Canik probably is better pistol. So if you are looking for the airsoft, looking for Canik, just saying.
Or a competition gun, but
Yep, or a competition gun. So yeah,
um,
that's why even the shooter from the different platform jumping onto Canik and say, yeah, this gun is definitely feels better. So yeah, it's not just us marketing it, right?
No,
It's other people from a different platform even say that. So I'm
I
just like,
get
there you go.
I get zero anything from Canik. I don't even get an honorable mention on their website for saying their gun is nice. So I get no benefit for saying it. But here's when I got to play with it at the SHOT Show, I was immediately stricken by the fact and how well balanced it was. That to me is what is making the big difference between the rival and the SFX. I think that 2/10 of an inch taken off the barrel kind
Hmm.
of moved the weight back a little more, makes it more centralized.
Mm.
And I shoot it flatter than I did my SFX. So I like it a lot. That thing is amazing.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, great guns. One of
And
probably the best gun I ever shot for sure.
yeah, I've shot a lot of pistols,
Hmm.
revolvers, semi-autos. I've got a hand-built 1911 for competition, which is back there, and I'll take
Hmm.
that rival every day.
Yeah.
I do remember what June said.
Okay, here we go.
and,
See, it will come
and
back.
and what we were talking about, and that was he noticed in our conversation, he was saying he's found when he went back and looked at all of his nationals performances, he cuts his position in half almost every single time.
Mm.
So he was 22nd this time. I said, okay, June, I expect you to be 11th next year. So he just keeps knocking them down in half, 50% off. So what I was getting at was IDPA, hey, you're 20 whatever. Now you're 12. Next year you'll be sixth.
Mm.
There you go. See how it
That's my
works?
goal.
There you go.
Yeah, that's my goal on IDPA for sure. Yeah.
Now, when you got them, so how did you structure the 4 days of shooting with these guys, knowing that it's a gun they're not familiar with? They
Hmm.
don't shoot real, they do shoot the airsoft, but they don't shoot an actual bullet that, has a primer that's going to give you recoil and a loud bang and everything else. How did you structure those 4 days?
Very, very simple. The first 2 days are all about familiar and knowing your guns, knowing your equipment. That's basically what my structure is. And again, I really want to thank JJ for introduce the concept of our training and learning stuff to me. So a lot of stuff are from JJ, but I kind of tweak it a little
Okay.
bit to what the Taiwanese people need because I simply just said know your guns, knowing your equipment, knowing your weapon that you are going to go to the war with. Now IDPA National is your war that you're going to fight right now. So knowing your equipment is the first step. And then the first 2 days, all I did, because they have the fundamental in airsoft, I'm not too worried about the safeties because these people are all safety officers in IDPA. So they understand the RO
Mm,
equipment to the USPSA RO. So they understand the rules, they understand the safety as well. So majority of the time I'm not even worried about their trigger fingers because they understand it. So looking at what I'm not trying to change the way how they grip the gun, but I am tweaking. So in 2 days, I'm tweaking them how they can shoot as the real gun, not like an airsoft. Because the way that they mention it to me, the way how they grip the gun in airsoft, because you don't need a lot of strength gripping the gun. A majority of the people are still using, yeah, majority of the people are still using the traditional triangle way, the way that we do it, like this. So I mean, like it's great way to do it, but when I do it myself, I notice that's not the best way because in real gun you have to get majority of the meat on the gun to have more purchase,
right.
and then it's more stable. So I basically just telling them like, hey, if you cannot be like Bogle, like doing this, like that, don't do it.
Right.
Like just come back a little bit, getting more meat on your gun. That's how you grab the gun. And the first 2 days are just like that. The last 2 days, as you can see from the picture, yeah, are getting more and more into the real competition. You put the vest on, you get your tone in this, pretending every single beep on the timer is is the stage starting signal. So that's the mindset starting to transition to more and more. And the second of the last 2 days basically are the one I telling them, all right, I'm going to start to build some stages, giving an idea. This is what you need to get your focus on, getting more, all the alphas basically down zero. I don't want to see any other down one or down three or down five. If I see those, you're
Sending you
basically
back to
putting.
Taiwan.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just telling them. I was going to say push-ups, but I already. But I'm a
Oh,
nice person, so I'm not say, okay, no push-ups, but you're going to timeout. You're not able to shoot until everybody on the line is all done. Then we'll come back again and tell me what did you went wrong. So the the first 2 days familiar with the gun, because once they familiar with the gun, and the last 2 days, it's going to be a little bit easier to structure because they know exactly what they did wrong. They pulled the trigger too hard, or maybe they didn't see the sight coming in their vision, or even when they reload, they didn't see the workspace. So that is the concept I did for structure for 4 days. 2 days are basically fundamental, but shooting and knowing your gun. The last 2 days are basically knowing why did you do it wrong and why did you do it this way. So they will
so
get into the mindset in the competition.
so start diagnosing their own issues.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay. Now, when you say the fundamentals, I assume that's you've got a failure, you've got to clear a jam, whatever the case is. Is that part of the fundamentals? Learning your gun?
No, not on that. Not on those focuses. Those focuses are
Okay.
be the last 2 days, because
Okay.
that's also where we see the malfunction coming in. Because I told them these 4-day classes might be changing every single hour depending on your skill and depending on the circumstances. So in the first 2 days, all I see is their groups are all over the place on the target. And that's the first 2 days. And then, I mean, the first day and the second day, I start to see the group will start getting into only alpha zone, only the down zero part.
Mm,
So that's the part I'm like,
okay.
oh, okay, it's working the way it's working. This guy, you can see that violinist, he's very eager to learn everything. Because I'm a
Okay.
carry optic shooters, I also will look those carry optic shooters. How can I make you improve? So I,
Oh,
I
right.
focus on him the most. Well, at equal time, but because his personality is very similar to mine, so I can joke around with him. And I say, if you keep pulling your gun, because I show them, if you if your sight and if you prep your trigger, this is JJ stuff, but if you prep your trigger, and then if I even pull the trigger and move my hand, the bullet's faster than my muscle. It's going to be on the target. So I show them. But the guy, he's keeping anticipating the recoil every second shot. So I keep telling them,
Mm.
if you keep doing that, I'm going to be like JJ's dad. I'm going to put the wooden stick and hit your head. And and he's like, okay, okay. So
Now,
that's that.
was this 4 days of speaking Taiwanese?
Yeah, in Chinese. We so in Taiwan we speak Mandarin Chinese, and we do have a
Oh,
local
okay.
dialogue. So Taiwanese is a local dialogue. So sometimes I will split up with some local dialogue as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the same guy. If it did it well, I
Oh,
give
let me go
give
back.
everybody a fist bump. So
Okay.
that's that. So yeah, see, I told you, you're doing okay. Just don't pull your gun. If you keep doing that, I'm going to hit your head. And he's like, okay, okay. So he's the guy who will be like very frustrated as well. He'll be like papa 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 and finish all the stages, and he'll be like looking around when we're looking around the target and call the score. We'll be like, down one over here. It's always like this and a 7 o'clock position, and just like, stop
Mm,
pulling your gun. And I'll hit him. He will be like, oh, come on, no, why I'm doing this. Yeah, this is the personality of him, very similar to me. So that's why I kind of look forward to him as well. And then the rest of the people are iron sight shooters. You can tell from the center shooter,
yeah.
he's left-handed. He's that middle
Yep.
school teacher. He
Okay.
that's yeah, he's the one keep dropping the magazine. He frustrating himself. And in that
Uh,
situation, I usually just like, I know you what you're doing, but I'll just let you fix it. And if there are any suggestion, I will tell you. But he's doing great. He's doing great.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome
gonna
guy.
I'm gonna start closing some of these out because I want to get back to this.
Uh-huh.
So, who is the first guy to your left here?
He is
This
the most accurate iron sight shooter, and he is the guy I was talking about that he served in the Taiwanese Coast Guard for 20 years as the firearm instructor. And now he's the
okay.
engineer for the airsoft company.
Okay. So
Yeah.
did he when he was in the Coast Guard? So I mean, he already had I assume he's got a degree in engineering.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All I know, he had tons of experience with guns when he was in the
Okay.
military. Yeah, because he's a
Okay.
firearm instructor. But interestingly, um, when the first 2 days, he also struggled with his gun. Like the way how he thought is the iron sight, because I think he think about the iron sight is once I line up, it's supposed to be on here. The group is supposed to be on top.
Oh.
Is that the old
Okay.
old way thinking about firearm? Is that why?
Mm, no, but I mean, I've heard that before, where people think. Now, when I shot rifle,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. I actually adjusted my because you had a black bullseye
All
on a
right, that's right.
white background.
Mm-hmm.
What you would do, once you get out to 200 yards is easy, but once you hit beyond 300 yards, so you're going to 600 yards or 1,000,
And your front sight post
it's
is basically blocking the entire target.
black. Well,
Yeah.
it's black and it's hard to determine, is this in the middle, or is this in the middle? Is that in the
Um,
middle? So what you do is you put the tip of the front sight post right at the bottom edge of the
oh,
black,
okay.
because
Yep.
you know exactly where that point is, but you adjust your sight so the impact is in the middle.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I did on the rifle as well. But that's why he thought. Then he always shoot. I forgot he's shooting high or something. It's just not right there. His point of aim is not point of impact. So we're trying to figure out on his aim all the time, and then we realize I think his grip and his trigger. He also because airsoft doesn't really have that feeling if you put your meat in somewhere or put it on your knuckles, then when you pull the trigger, that little angle doesn't really affect on the airsoft, but it affect a lot on the real gun. So he also noticed that, and he's like, "Oh yeah." So we fixed that hit grip issue, and turns out most
Boom.
accurate shooter for the entire match.
Dude, he had to be tickled pink with that.
Hmm.
Now,
So that's it.
who's the guy on the far right there?
See, I never got his day job. I'm not sure if he works for the um I'm not sure about his day job, to be honest. I forgot to
Okay.
ask him. But he's shooting CDP. He's supposed to shoot the Concealed Defense Pistol League, but Walther's gun is too big, so he bumped into the uh, SSP or ESP. I forgot ESP.
Yeah, I think it's this one. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, ESP, Enhanced
Yeah,
Service Pistol.
he
Third
bumped into
place, marksman.
ESP. Yeah, so he said he looked at his score after the entire match. He said if he is still in the same division that he's supposed to be, he's in first place.
Oh,
So
wow.
so he's the third place ESP and marksman, and the first place ESP marksman is that firearm instructor. So Taiwanese got first place and the third
And
place for
third
the same.
place.
Yeah,
Wow. Now, what division was he initially supposed to be in that he would have
CDP,
taken first? Oh,
concealed
okay.
defense pistol. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I gotcha.
Hmm.
Shout out to those guys.
I
Job well
know.
done.
Really,
But
really great job.
I like that you taught them the most critical skill they needed.
Hmm.
It's coming.
Oh
Pasting.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of that, this is another funny story as well. Because the taper gun, that we use in competition, I told them this is supposed to make every squat faster and make everything faster. And then I realized they say the Taiwanese IDPA pace is not as fast as the US competition. So same thing with carry out national.
Oh,
We get used to how fast to running another one, running another one, running another one, but they're not used to that. So that's why there's supposed to be four people, but you can see there's five people over here. The far, far,
yeah.
far right, he is that international contact person. Also, he's
Okay.
working as safety officers for the match, the
Oh,
area
okay.
director, and he told me he didn't get he's not used to the how fast the pace is in US. And I'm like, oh, and I should tell them, but I don't know because I never been to the major match in Taiwan, so I don't know how slow it is. But
Right.
they just didn't get used to it. So he didn't get a really good performance, but he learned a lot of experience from here. So yeah, pasting that that tape gun right there. I brought it up, and it was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh, let me show you what the magical happen is." I'll just show him like, "Pop, pop, 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 pop," how fast the pacing is. Like, and they look at the area director, the IPOA. He's like, "We need one in Taiwan. This is so easy to use because they're not using those." They say, "Yeah, everybody as the SO, the range officers over there, they have this." 'Cause they want to make sure every squad get fast, so they have the tape gun every single stages. So it feels like they want this tape gun now because they showed it, and some of the people don't know how to use, and we just joke around. They never have experience working in a convenience store or the gas station because that's the staple gun that you put all the labels on.
Right. All right. So I'm sharing this because I want to talk about something here.
Hmm.
Um, so 3,000 rounds per person, was that just during training?
Just during training,
So about 750 rounds for 4 days.
every single day, 700, 800 rounds each day. Yeah.
That's that's awesome.
Yeah. People
That's
people
a
say, "Oh, wow, that's a lot of ammo." Yeah, but blisters everywhere. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, I mean
But
there's going to be side effects to that, but
yeah.
I mean obviously they didn't care. So
Mhm.
I totally get it. All right. So we've done the part where you've met up with them in Taiwan, they've proposed it, you're like, "Sure, send them over. They're here, you do the training." Now, at the end of the 4 days, how long of a break was there between the last day of training and the first day of the match?
So on the fourth day of a training is one of the area directors pre-shoot for the staff shoots. So he went shooting the match, and then that's already so we practice we train on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So 4 days.
Okay.
The match starts at Friday and Saturday. So there is a couple days between,
Right.
but they also
Yeah.
utilize the last day before the match, which is Thursday, to kind of fine tune their shooting skill and whatnot. So they still went out there, and technically, I don't need to follow them. I don't need to go there. I can just tell them that yeah, I already arranged the bait. Just go and shoot. But again, I'm just so worried about them because I want to make sure they're doing okay. So I was there on the range as well. Even my job for 4 day training is done, but I still went out there and making sure they're in the best performance they ever have over here in the state and making sure they're good. So I was there.
Yeah, you're their Taiwanese American ambassador. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally
Oh,
get it.
I also share with the link. That's the IDPA Taiwan's Facebook page. They also have more pictures than including some of the background. They also have an English translation over there as well. So if you want to take a look, that we also
Okay.
have a chance to become in the Hall of Fame. They took a picture of us and put it in and tell us to sign it and put in the cameo with the Taiwanese flag on there.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, if you click on it, you're able to see it from some of the posts.
Where is it at?
It should be in a chat
On your
box.
Insta. Oh, in the chat box.
Yeah,
Uh, let's see here. Oh, you mean on here?
here. Yeah. Here.
Oh, I was okay. I never use that, so I've got to get. Ooh, let me move that. It's just going to block my screen. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of squiggly lines on there that I have no idea what that is.
But
Okay.
if you see more, they have the translation. Some of the posts they have translation already. But if you keep scrolling down, you will see some of the stuff.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Grand Junction, Colorado. That's
Yeah.
cool. Let me.
So that's Wilson Combat's team. They just say hopefully this post particularly just say hopefully they can be like that in the future, sending more and more shooters to America and experience and have performance just like them. That's basically what the post is for. But one more post down there.
Okay. Let me. This one.
This is the award ceremony, and if you
Okay.
click on see more, they have the entire translation from
All right.
the basically the Chinese version. So if you click on see more, oh, that's the translation. See more on the bottom right on the last Chinese character. Yeah, and the bottom is the English translation for
Gotcha.
yeah. So there's more about this, and then if you keep click scrolling down to a couple more or several more posts, you will see that Cameo, the range of Cameo, basically put the Taiwanese. Oh, one more post, almost there, right? Almost. That's Julie's.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one. Yeah,
This one. Okay.
yeah. This is the one that they make sure that um, the cameo staff came over and tell the Taiwanese team to take the picture. And cool thing about this, the flag was raised over there. I told them to took it down to bring it to the award ceremony so they can basically show off the flag. And Cameo also said, let's keep the flag here. So the next time, if there's Taiwanese people or Taiwanese visitor or shooter, we'll raise the flag again.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
It's really, really cool. So I'm like, oh,
I'm trying to kind of cut the screen a little bit so that it's easier to see and you can actually see the whole thing. So that's what I'm doing right
yeah.
to
On
do it.
this Facebook page, it took every single day. There's like summarize of the pictures of each shooter, including me and majority of the shooters of how they train and everything. I also just kind of that's why when some of the pictures that you see on my post are just some of the picture that me in there for the summarize for the training. But yeah, you can see more about details how they being trained and those kind of stuff. So
Gotcha. Interesting.
hmm
Well, that's cool that they have a flag there now.
they do.
So are they looking to do this every year then?
For the Taiwanese team or for
Yeah.
Cameo?
Chinese
Um,
team coming to IDPA Nationals.
they, I believe next year it's going to be in Alabama. I thought I'm not going back to the CMP, so I didn't renew my safety card, but I guess I'm going back again. So yeah, next year it's going to be IDPA World Championship. Not just the
Oh.
national championship for US, it's going to be World Championship. So yeah, they got invited by the IDPA people, so they are coming.
Oh, awesome. That
Yeah,
should be
and
cool.
I told them, it's like, I know that area. It's Cameo has more stuff. Colorado has more stuff. There, you have to live in certain places in order to eat some stuff. So I already warned
Yeah.
them. So don't worry. I told them I've been there, so don't worry. I'll be your tour guide again.
Yeah, you
So
got to stay in Oxford. Don't stay in Talladega because there's nowhere to eat in Talladega. Holy cow, it's
yes,
ridiculous. Wow.
I know.
um, so were you on the same squad as them?
I want to be. I want to be on the same squad, but their squad filled super fast because they only have 7 slot on each squad. So they
Oh,
already have
okay.
4 people. So they just 3 other people is full. And then when I trying to sign up, they're already full. So I'm like, all right, I'll shoot the same squad, but in the morning. So I will shoot them first, and I will tell them this is what's going on, and they will shoot the next day, and they will tell me what's going on. So
So how
that's
much coaching did you do since you weren't shooting while they were shooting?
hmm
How much coaching did you do during their shooting?
the first day, it's all the jitter, right? So I told them I will shoot in the morning. I shot it. I stay a couple hours, not a couple, like almost the entire match actually, for the afternoon. And I told them what the popper will look like, what the timing was supposed to be. So I kind of stay a little bit and see how they're doing. And once I start seeing they're doing okay, and I'll say, okay, I need to go back to the hotel and shower, and we'll talk later or something. So that is the day one. And day two, um, they just finished shooting. So when I get there, they I thought I can kind of walk with them a little bit around 10 o'clock, but they're already almost done, finished around that time. So I thought, wait, already? You guys finished shooting already? Like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, dang it! I'm supposed to be here earlier, and look at how you guys shooting. And turns out they're doing okay. So that's that.
Okay.
hmm
That's awesome. Okay. Do you expect any of these same guys will be back next year, or do you think it'll be four completely different? After talking to the coordinator guy,
hmm
because I know you just said that they're looking to get more people over here to get experience doing this. Do you think they're going to rotate four different people every time?
Hard to say. It's hard to say. I wish would be new people because my goal, from my perspective, is I also want the Taiwanese people to get more involved with the shooting sport. I want them to improve as a competition shooter, and also share the same knowledge that I learned from here and transform into a common knowledge to share with all the people in Taiwan. So that's my goal. But
Okay.
again, I depends on what their thought. If they still want to just basically show on the award ceremony, maybe they were sending to the same group, or maybe they're probably going to sneak some couple people and switch couple people out or whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. I like them already. They're great
Right.
people to work with, and I know they're going to have shooters coming next year for sure. But who? Hard to say. It's hard to say.
Now, I've shot a few IDPA matches, not a lot, and only locals.
hmm
So, is there an IDPA Nationals next year and an IDPA World, or just the IDPA World in the US?
Um, I'm not sure. I know IDPA World for sure, but I don't know if it's because they're starting to see more and more people coming from different countries. Because particularly for this year, there's people from South Africa, Kenya. There's people from Argentina, I believe.
Okay.
Some Spanish speaking countries are starting to come over, and even Taiwan team. So I don't know. It's because of that they're just going to do the IDPA World, because I know there is a previously IDPA World in Frostproof, because that's where I got the record on YouTube. But I'm not
Okay.
sure if there's a national and world or just world. I'm not sure, but for sure next year it's going to be IDPA World Championship.
Okay. Because, yeah, I'm wondering if it's like IPSC where, it moves around. So the world
Mhm.
championship might move around, but we always have our own national championship?
I think IDPA World. I think it's always going to be in America, just because the way how they structure the organization is slightly different than USPSA slash IPSC, because IPSC is more like an international confederation, but
Okay.
um, but IDPA is more like the US based competition organization. I think that's why I think it's probably going to be always in the state.
Okay. Holy cow, man. You can go on their website, IDPA, and they have 23 pages of matches, and the last page is September 12th, 2026.
Oh, already! Wow.
Yeah. I was like, holy cow. Uh, so I guess you could
But
search.
speaking of the match, um, we mentioned it in the pre chat pre pre podcast about the
Right.
Taiwanese also wants to do a
Yes, that's right.
match as well.
So you were saying that they pre COVID that there
Hmm.
was this like a Southeast Open IPSC Air
Oh,
or
IDPA.
IDPA Air.
No, not
IDPA Air.
IDPA Air. IDPA real gun.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's because of
That's right.
regulation in Taiwan, they're not really able to do it. They can do a level three. That level three, it's going to be the highest they can do it in Taiwan. It's the IDPA Taiwanese National Championship. It's a level three match. Compared to US is a level five, but in Taiwan it's a level three. Compete only with airsoft guns. The same
Okay.
rule, the same idea of IDP, but with airsoft, similar to IPSC Air. But they also wants to open up to other people to enjoy the IDPA, the real IDPA. So they had a 2018 Southeast Asia Open Cup. I think that's how they call it, in Thailand last time. That's pre-COVID. And because COVID and everything, people not travel anymore. They don't want to be quarantined, so they don't do it until it's starting to open up again. They want to
Right.
do another Southeast Open Cup of IDPA in Bali, Indonesia next year.
Mm,
We don't know the time yet. This is just the coordinator, the area director told me this is what his goal that he's trying to get into. So hopefully next year is going to have another one in Bali, Indonesia, and it's supposed to be an awesome place to do it because the range is across the hotel. And the hotel has its own private entrance to the beach access. So he just told me bring your family and then tell your wife and your son and enjoy the beach, and you can just tell him, hey honey, I'm going across the street and shoot the competition, I'll be back, because the range owner and the hotel owner is the same owner. So that's why they build a range like across the street from the hotel. So which is really
wow.
cool, really cool.
So all I've seen is IDPA World Championship. I haven't seen a national championship, and that is September 28th of next year.
In Talladega,
Yep.
Alabama.
Talladega. Yep.
Yep.
More information coming soon.
Yep.
So interesting.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Dave, now
Oh.
you know if you want to come and have fun and then talk to this Taiwanese people, it's not that far away from you.
Yeah, it's definitely within driving distance. I've done that a
Yeah.
couple of times. Oh goodness. I don't even know how you get. I thought there you had to go through some type of qualifying process to even shoot it,
Yeah,
but you
like
have to
points,
have
basically.
points. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, there was something else I was going to ask, but no, I don't know that I wrote it down. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, how
Hmm.
would you rate the experience?
Of the IDPA?
The training them and shooting. Basically, even though you weren't on the same squad, you still shot the match with them, and then you went to the award ceremony and all of that with them. So, that whole experience with the team.
Ooh, this is. Ah, if I had to rate, this is probably more than 10. Um,
Okay.
one of the reason why it's kind of like the feeling of if you're in a foreign country your own and you haven't seen people speak the same language or from your country for a long time and then enjoying the same thing that you're doing as a shooting sport, then it's going to be that feeling. So it's hard to kind of rate it, because if you think about it, Dave, if you are, let's just say if you live in a foreign country and you're still shooting a competition, but you're the only one as a foreigner, different race, different country, and then for some reason there is a team, a group of team of U.S. team coming to, let's just say, Thailand, and come shoot the IPSC World Champion, and you're the only one living Thailand at that time. If you see somebody, you don't need to speak Thai anymore. All you need to do is speak English, and then talking to these U.S. team, it doesn't really matter. See, that's the feeling I have. It's the same thing that, wow, there's a bunch of Taiwanese people are shooting competition, and there's a bunch of people are enjoying shooting competition as I am doing it here in America. So that feeling, it's out of 10 for sure. It's like probably it's 100 of a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard
what I would
to
expect.
rate.
So,
Hmm. So it's great. They bring some Taiwanese treat at the event, and it was like, oh, almost at every single stage I shot, I walk to the vendor's booth and say, "Can I get some treat from you guys?" And it's like, "Frank, don't come over until you finish shooting." So that's for every shooter, it's not just you. I'm like, "Oh yeah, but it's so good." Yeah, it's those kind of feeling. It's great feeling to see people from home. America
well,
is
that's
my
awesome.
home. It's my second home, but yeah, that
It's
it's
different.
hard
I
to
get
describe.
it.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I remember my question was going to be, so you said you had one more match this year and then your season's over.
Hmm.
But what does the future look like for you? And what I mean by that is, like, we shot Carry Optics Nationals, and then there was a you had not quite a week. The Taiwanese team showed up, but there were a lot of people shooting the Pan American Games in
Correct.
IPSC.
Hmm.
Do you see yourself shooting any IPSC and trying to go that route in your shooting career?
For sure. That is always my goal. It's trying to shoot more and more international matches. Um, in fact, shooting the hybrid match in Caribbean Open is is one of my feelings that, oh, I can travel mainland and shoot different places. So yeah, my goal, of course, in the future, I want to shoot IPSC, and hopefully to shoot Europe, hopefully to shoot in Asia and different places. But how long is my goal? Maybe 5, 10 years. You never know. This particular shooting sport I want to do, I don't want to be just a short term. I don't want to be doing as just, oh, Frank just want to use this to escape with family and enjoy his his own life. No, this
Right.
is something I really want to make people see that, yeah, there is a Taiwanese guy that is shooting Canik, and now he can compete with different level of shooting sport, different places, and still have the name like in the top. That is my goal in the future. So my goal is wants to be like JJ, wants to be like Nils, wants to be everybody, like to get titles and get recognized, and also wants to share my knowledge, because I got this, how far I got it, and I can share my knowledge and go back to the community. And that's basically my goal. So if you see what I'm doing right now for the Townies team, that's basically something, that the path I'm going to get how high I'm here, but still willing to give back to the local communities and whatnot. So yeah, IPSC definitely one of my goal for sure. I just don't know, the pandemic is right in the middle of the time I am training a Taiwanese team. So because the Taiwanese team I've been scheduled before Pan Am, that's why. But yeah, in the future,
Right.
yes.
Now, are you going to shoot the Caribbean Open again then?
I can't, because I will have baby at that time. My wife, it's
Mm,
going to due on December, the end of
right.
December, so it's just right there. So I'm going to stay home as a dad. But probably my first match, to be honest, my first match as the Canik shooter again, probably going to be the IDPA Southeast Open. Hopefully, that's the one I'm going.
Oh, international, you mean?
International. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my goal, and we're still talking because they're still trying to figure out on the range and the date. And if everything's perfect and ready to go, I'm going for sure. I'm going because not just because the beach, it's Bali, Dave. It's
Yeah.
Bali.
Yeah. It's a resort area. I mean,
It's yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't, that experience is alone, even if you just do it one time, just
Yeah,
going to Bali and would be one thing, but now you get to go to Bali and shoot guns.
yeah, and
So,
enjoying the beach and enjoy the resort. Yes, definitely. So
yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
one. That's the one I will definitely will shoot early the year because I'm pretty sure they want to do early the year because if it's getting hot and summer, I'm probably not going to go there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too
Now, do
hot,
you
too
have,
humid. That's why.
oh my
That's why.
goodness.
Bring back
You're,
the conversation in Alabama is like, oh, this year is so hot. It just 1 month compared to last year was in November or something. I was like, oh, this is too hot.
yeah, last year was October. It was better than it was this year, though, because this year was very humid.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Now, if you, because again, I don't know anything about IDPA. With USPSA, I know if you shoot international matches, you do it through, like, I guess the USPSA helps you with your paperwork and whatever you need to get over there. Does IDPA do the same thing? Like if you're going to Bali, or are you on your own?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't started the conversation with anybody yet. The
Okay.
only thing I know is the Taiwanese IDPA, the coordinator already invited me, and that's the only thing. So if there's any paperwork, probably will go through them. The reason why I say that is I probably will add my personal trip to visit Taiwan first, and from Taiwan and travel to Bali. So I'm not able to bring my gun. So that's something I also need to talk to Canik and see what they can do over there. If do I just pick up the gun, just like the Taiwanese team, pick up the gun here in a state, and
Right.
probably will do the same thing that pick up the gun over there and shoot the gun.
That'll be interesting.
That'll be
We'll have
interesting. I
to
haven't started the conversation,
follow along.
but I will wait until everything cooled down a little bit and then bring up the conversation for the match. If the match is confirmed and then there's a date, then it's easier to start the conversation. But right now, it's all in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, next time you talk to those guys, tell them I said congratulations. They did well.
Oh, definitely for sure. And in fact, I'm just going to share with the podcast with them and say, hey, we talked about you guys the entire time.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to put this out sometime between now and Sunday, so it'll hit pretty quick.
Okay, that
So,
would be great.
yeah. All right, Frank, I appreciate your time. That was a good conversation. Very interesting.
I know, and this is the time we're supposed to talk. See, remember we talked about at the dinner. We're like, yeah, if it's a good date, you'll look at the time like, oh, it's almost 2 hours. I can't believe that, and it's
Right.
almost 2 hours. This is great.
Yep. It is great.
I know, awesome. It's good to talk to you, David. Every time I see you, it just I just like, ah, Dave, look at that. See the face, see the faces, see the face. Oh, yay.
Next time you're on this side of the world between Richmond and Baltimore, you got to let me know so we can have another dinner date.
Ooh, Baltimore. See, I supposed to go. I went to DC early this year. I should just
I know.
contact you. I know. Now I know. Next time I'll be
Yeah,
in the area. I'll just let you know.
absolutely.
Okay,
All right. Thanks, Frank.
no problem. Thank you so much, Dave.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.